Well, first of all, I believe the man is a false teacher. I believe he's a heretic.
Hey all, Mason Mennenga here. Anyone who once saved sex for marriage and listened to either Striper or Switchfoot remembers in 2011 when Rob Bell released Love Wins. Love Wins was basically a very popular level attempt to question if some people would eternally, consciously be tormented after they die. Rob was famously called a heretic by Franklin Graham on Fox News, and also more famously farewelled by John Piper on Twitter. Yes, this John Piper. Calling someone a heretic in evangelical Christianity is as old as the 6,000-year-old world. But this moment with Rob Bell in 2011 was one of the most famous examples of recent where a modern-day heresy trial deplatformed a famous Christian leader, even though he was proposing a version of universalism that has never been condemned as heretical by any ecumenical council. So if Rob Bell can be considered a heretic for believing something that has never been condemned as heresy, then does that mean any Christian can be considered a heretic? So today I'll be talking about what Christian heresy is and why every Christian is a heretic. Before we jump in, be sure to like and subscribe and turn on notifications, and let me know what you think about the video in the comments. Also, these videos take a lot of time and energy to make, so if you like my content, be sure to support me on Patreon at patreon.com/Mason Mennenga. And if you enjoy my Twitter account, you can get a shirt or sticker of your favorite tweet of mine at masonmennenga.com/store. So what is heresy? The original Greek word for heresy is hieresis, which literally just means choice. The few times it is translated in the Bible, it is usually translated as sect. But later on, the term was used by the church to mean anything that threatened the unity of the church, like if you should sing Sloppy Wet Kiss or Unforeseen Kiss. Heresy traditionally was understood as any departure from orthodoxy, or the denial or doubt of the core doctrine of the Christian faith. So if heresy used to be understood that way, then that begs the question, what is orthodoxy? A lot of Christians may think that when Christianity first started, there were just core beliefs that all Christians had, like believing in making the worst movies you've ever seen. But the problem with that is Jesus didn't leave Christians with core doctrinal beliefs, and many of the first Christians were actually Jews, not a separate religion altogether. So there wasn't a pure form of Orthodox Christianity early on. It wasn't until Constantine messed up Christianity that the idea of orthodoxy developed. And even then, that is more complex than many Christians would like you to believe. Check out my video about why there are so many different Christian denominations if you want to learn more about that, or if you just want to see my face longer. In the first few hundred years of Christianity, there are many different beliefs, many of which are now considered heretical, like Gnosticism and Docetism. Many of these beliefs had to do with the nature of God and Jesus. While there was a great diversity of beliefs in early Christianity, eventually church councils were called on to decide what would be considered orthodox doctrinal beliefs moving forward, and what color the carpet should be in the sanctuary. There were a number of major church councils, but the most important one that is often regarded by almost all Christians as the defining church council was the Council of Nicaea. This council decided on two major doctrinal beliefs. One is that God is three distinct persons who share the same nature, which is the doctrine of the Trinity. The second is that Jesus is fully human and fully God. There have been many church councils from many different Christian traditions since, but these two doctrinal beliefs decided at Nicaea remain two of the core. So essentially that means Christian orthodoxy is just basically just believing in the Trinity and that Jesus is fully human and fully God. So if Christian orthodoxy is just basically those two beliefs, then heresy in Christianity has traditionally been understood as simply denying that God is three distinct persons who share the same nature and that Jesus is fully human and fully God. Around the time of the Council of Nicaea, Christianity not only became legalized under Constantine, but in many ways Christianity became co-opted to the Roman Empire. And whoever were the skilled fans of Rome in the 300s cheered on with joy. Because of this, heresy not only had theological implications, but it then had legal implications as well. In 385, the first person ever to be executed because of heresy occurred. People condemned as heretics were regularly executed throughout Christian history until 1826, when a Spanish schoolmaster was hanged for teaching deism. If only that had also been the fate of all those deists who were the racist founding fathers of America. While there were a number of ecumenical councils in the first several hundred years of Christianity to formalize orthodoxy, there have been no modern ecumenical councils to further formalize orthodoxy, and certainly none to condemn any heresy. So because now there are no ecumenical councils to declare any heresy, What does heresy even mean for Christians today, besides getting likes on Twitter? Often now when you hear of a Christian condemning another Christian as a heretic, it is simply that they do not like that person's theology, not because that person is a Gnostic or a Doicist, or some other heresy that was condemned early on. When Franklin Graham called Rob Bell a heretic, it didn't mean Rob Bell denied the Trinity or that Jesus was fully human and fully God. What Franklin Graham meant was he simply did not like Rob Bell's theology and love wins. So if heresy now just means simply disagreeing with another Christian's theology, and it has no ecclesial or legal implications, and since there haven't been any recent ecumenical church councils to condemn someone as a heretic, or a government to execute someone for heresy, then what weight does a Christian condemning another Christian as a heretic have anymore? In all honesty, being condemned a heretic by Christians like Franklin Graham or John Piper really doesn't mean much for the person being condemned a heretic. Sure, someone like Rob Bell may lose a part of their audience, and that would affect them financially, or it could mean getting a deal with Oprah, having one of the biggest spirituality podcasts, and hanging out with whiny NFL quarterbacks. But the point of declaring someone a heretic now means little for the person being condemned, and it means so much more for the person condemning. For the Christian condemning another Christian as a heretic now feels like they feel empowered to gatekeep what they believe Christianity should be. The Christian who is condemning another Christian for heresy is a Christian who wants power. They want to feel like they get to define Christianity. It has nothing to do with if a Christian believes in the Trinity or if Jesus was fully human and fully God. Orthodoxy has been the attempt for Christians to declare what they do believe. Now declaring others as heretics is just for Christians to draw a line in the sand about who they are not. John Piper farewelling Rob Bell on Twitter wasn't an attempt to declare what he believed Christianity to be. It was an attempt to gatekeep someone he did not like out of Christianity. I have seen some Christians condemn other Christians as heretics for believing in gender equality or justice for LGBTQ people. And if we rewind history about 150 years ago in America, it was white slave owners who accused slavery abolitionists of being heretics for not supporting slavery. For many Christians in the past and present, Christianity is just about being politically conservative and has nothing to do with what was decided at the early church councils or knowing all the lyrics to Jesus Freak. So heresy nowadays basically has come to mean disagreeing with another Christian. And if that's the case, then every Christian is a heretic because every Christian disagrees with each other about something. Whether it's about baptism, the afterlife, eschatology, or many other different theological categories, there are over 2 billion Christians today. And that basically means there are 2 billion assholes. 2 billion different understandings of Christianity. Nowadays, many Christians will claim they disagree with other Christians about something, but they don't consider that disagreement to be an issue of heresy. But many of those same Christians would consider views like universalism or other atonement theories besides penal substitution theory of atonement as issues of heresy. However, those Christians don't know their history, even though there's only 6,000 years of it, because the only 2 issues of theology that were decided on in the early church councils were the nature of God and the nature of Jesus. Find an ecumenical church council where universalism was declared a heresy, or that penal substitution theory of atonement is the only orthodox theory of atonement. Good luck, and may the odds ever be in your favor. And so if heresy basically has come to mean Christians disagreeing with other Christians, then there are not just over 2 billion Christians, but there are over 2 billion heretics as well. Every Christian is a heretic to another Christian, including you. So heresy used to be understood as the departure, denial, or doubt of the core doctrine of the Christian faith. But now many Christians use the term heresy and heretic to mean any theology or Christian they disagree with. And because heresy is commonly understood now as any theology or Christian who other gatekeeping Christians disagree with, that means every Christian can be a heretic to another Christian. So please join me in farewelling John Piper, since he's a heretic too. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe, and also tell me what you thought about it in the comments. This video is brought to you by my Patreon producers. If you'd like to become a Patreon producer, you can find more at patreon.com/Mason Mennenga.